Again, I don't know anything about these supplements, and I'm not a fucking health nut. I'm not looking into it. Someone else should, though. I encourage it.
Many months later.
Since nobody else seems to have done it, I guess I will. One caveat before I get into it, though. I don't want you to interpret this as an attack on Choq specifically. This should be more broadly interpreted as an attack on kind of the supplement industry, the processes they use, the type of advertisements that they make, and the claims that they make that they can't back up. If you have a favorite supplement company, they might be fine, but I encourage you to check them out and see if they do any of the things that I point out that Choq does. And this is fairly typical, and it's an industry that is in dire need of regulation. We're here at the Choq website, and I want to give you my first impressions on it. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is the types of claims they make. Most of them are very vague, but very kind of health sounding. Feel your strength and energy surge. Now, does that necessarily mean that whatever you've taken is healthy? I mean, I ate a cookie, and my energy certainly surged, but I wouldn't say that cookie was healthy or a health food. They also have this shot by benefit, so again, they are very much implying that whatever is behind these different clicks is going to help with your testosterone, your hormone health, mood and focus, sustained energy. They're at least sort of making these claims, but they go out of their way to not really make them. One of the ways that they do this is that they actually have this kind of used car salesman vibe, where they include their top reviews, and you can just click through all of them. Basically, anyone who's given them a 5-star review. Like, I've actually been kind of tempted to give them a 5-star review and just tell them how terrible it is to see if my review shows up on here. But I would have also given them a 5-star review. As a side note, I want you to pray for me, specifically pray that the algorithm does not realize how long I've spent on a supplement website. I am not looking forward to the types of ads that I am likely to be getting in the near future. But we'll keep going. And so again, they make lots of claims, they keep them very vague, it's expertly branded, most powerful male vitality supplements. So again, very health claims, very vague. And the Choq standard, everything is safe, they're all tested. The potency is higher than basically anywhere else. And they tell you everything that they put in there, which, again, assuming that that's true, it is a good thing. But you'll see that this transparency does not actually extend to everything that they talk about in here. They tell you everything that's on there, but they are purposefully deceptive in so many things. Finally, we'll go through. They do include a fair amount of research on here, and again, they're very deceptive about how they do it, but the research is legitimate, so I will talk about that in a bit. And again, another kind of sneaky tactic, they include a blog here where they can just talk about general health things. And when they talk about these general health things, they can imply that their supplements can solve these general health problems without actually claiming that their supplements solve these general health problems. And then finally, at the bottom here, this link right here, these terms and conditions, is a useful tool that I'll use in another clip. I ran into a number discrepancy as I was looking through this page. You'll notice they claim 35% here, whereas they claim that other products only have 2.5%, and they helpfully tell you that that is 14 times the amount in their product compared to other products. However, as I was exploring and clicked the Buy Now tab, you'll notice in this page, they claim the same numbers, 35% but 2.5%, but now that's only 4.6 times as much. Like, it doesn't feel like a typo. It doesn't. I was very confused, and I did some looking into this, and I couldn't find a concrete answer, honestly. It may just be a typo. I'll tell you my suspicion, though. My suspicion is that they went through and found other ashwagandha supplements and found that a lot of the least concentrated ones contain 2.5%, and so they included that number because it makes them look better. But if you take like an actual average, maybe that's closer to the 7 or 8% or so that this 4.6 number would represent. And so I include this just to highlight that they just bend the truth at every opportunity. Like, you go through and any statement you find in there, for the most part, it's not going to be an outright lie, but it also is not going to be the truth. And they are purposely relying on the fact that most people that visit these sites are not scientifically literate enough to go through and understand what it is that they're actually claiming. And so when they make the claims that they do, they know that the average person is going to extrapolate to a claim that they can't back up. You no doubt remember that I said that the terms and conditions were going to let me make a point later. Well, now is that time to make that point. So, again, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to comment on most of these. You can look through it yourself if you want. I'll scroll a little bit slowly. There are a couple of things that I find a little bit sketchy, but again, as a not lawyer, I'm not going to comment on those. We're going to wait till we get to number 34. Number 34 is the one that's most interesting to me. It's about their marketing. Choq does not market or advertise that any product are used as medical treatments or that any product cures or treats any medical condition or diseases. Collectively medical claims. Choq does not authorize and does not condone any reseller of products to make any claim or statement that the products cure or treat any medical condition or disease. You hereby waive any and all claims against Choq for any medical claims made by any third parties. So, as we went through there, I mean, they came as close as they possibly could. They made so many almost claims, knowing full well that most people are going to interpret that as just a straight up claim. And the way they get out of that is the dumb joke that, oh no, you signed your soul away. You didn't read all the terms and conditions when you signed that contract. That's how they get out of it. They have this little blurb at the bottom of a ridiculously long document full of legalese that says, these are not medical treatments. These have no medical purpose. And we don't make any claims that they do. The whole time knowing that the way they have advertised and the way they have approved their different advertisers and influencers that work with them to advertise it are advertising in such a way that the majority of people are going to think of them as medical treatments. And again, I do want to stress this isn't unique to this company. I mentioned that at the very beginning of the video, but so many supplement companies do this. Like, check out any kind of supplement, any kind of like company that operates along these lines, and you can almost always find somewhere in the terms and conditions where they say, yeah, we know this isn't medicine. We know that there are no confirmed things that this can help treat. And this is how we're going to get out and claim that we never said those things. Jimmy from the future here to interrupt this rant with a couple of mini rants that I'm shocked didn't make it into the original rant. Rant number 1, the specificity of the studies. They pretend like these are specific clinical trials for their actual supplement when they're not. They are studies that are generally look at the active ingredient. They are not specific and they pretend like they are. Number 2, They pretend like 10 or 20 studies is a lot of studies. They haven't even found all the studies about the thing, and the NIH correctly points out that there haven't been any studies done. In my own line of work, if I go through and if I have ever found something where there's only 20 studies done on a subject that I'm interested in, well, I'm going to be ecstatic because that's uncharted territory. And the final thing is the side effects. If these are biologically active components, there's potentially going to be some side effects. That's just the way it works because biology is complicated. The NIH does this correctly. Choq does not. To sum things up, let's look at some cell signaling pathways. This is the version the supplement companies want you to believe. You take a supplement, it has your desired effect. But this is a reality. Your supplement has a biological target, which has a desired effect. But actually, I misspoke. It's a little more complicated. Your supplement has a biological target, which has further downstream targets, which has your desired effect. But actually, I misspoke again. Your supplement has a biological target, which has downstream targets, which can all interact with other cell signaling pathways, which eventually has your desired effect and maybe some complications. But, as you might have guessed, I misspoke again. Because your supplement has a biological target, which has downstream targets, which interact with other cell signaling pathways, which also potentially regulate themselves. Which maybe, at the end of all of this, has your desired effect. I think there can be no greater condemnation to supplement companies' deceptive advertising processes than to compare actual biology with all of its complications to the version that they're trying to sell you. Most drug companies have to include the side effects. They have to go through and talk about whatever complications there are. You think the drug companies want to show the happy, smiling people while telling you you might die when you take their drug or have a heart attack or develop cancer or whatever crazy side effect there is? No, they only show it because they have to. And I think supplement companies should have to do the exact same thing.